Welcome back to Look Mum, I'm Hustling, the podcast. Episode 23 now, October 22nd.
Ooh.
We should give date updates from now on.
Yeah, very serendipitous. Yeah, since we are doing them weekly. Well, we're, kicked a benchmark a little bit earlier. We're going to start doing them weekly next year.
Yeah.
And I think we're third week in. I don't know. Everything's like a benchmark for us at the moment.
If we were smart about it, we would do 3 or 4 recordings back to back, but we're not that smart.
No, and
Plus, we're trying to keep up to date with the current affairs. And
we are. And our lives in general as well. So rather than, banking a few episodes, today's actually the day and it's going to come out on Tuesday.
3 days from now. That means I have my work cut out for me.
You do. Yeah, a lot of editing.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It's almost Christmas. Like, it's crazy. It's like 10 weeks of Christmas.
I was thinking the other day.
8 weeks. Yeah, 8 weeks.
I feel like I say this like every month, but like, where did the month go? Like, it's just going so fast. Like, this whole year has just disappeared right under my feet.
Well, lockdown here in Sydney ended on, the 11th? So it's been 11 days.
Yeah, almost 2 weeks since out of lockdown.
Full freedom back.
Well, almost full freedom. Like, everything is still quite restrained, I feel like, at the moment. Everyone's still, wearing masks and checking in and showing their vaccinations and...
Yeah, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do on your phone with the mask on to unlock and show 2 different certifications that you're a law-abiding citizen.
Yeah.
At the moment anyway. Who knows what will happen next week or next month? Could be new rules.
It is a really weird thing if you think about it because, like, post-lockdown, so this is like New South Wales' first, like, big one.
Release.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because the previous time we didn't go into full lockdown, so this is the first time. But think about it. We never had to show anybody our phones when we were going into a building, never had to show anybody, documents and things like that. So it's weird how in a couple of months so much can change.
And we'll probably change even more in the following months. I dare say there'll be a booster requirement to be a fully vaccinated person. That's a bit of speculation.
You just don't know. Like, you just have to go with the flow and see what happens. And
I think they said Israel's doing that now.
Oh, really?
You need to, and I think it was initially 2 vaccines, and then now to introduce the 3rd booster shot for you to be considered fully vaccinated. So they can just move and change the laws at will, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that is very true.
When do they stop at 4, 5, 10?
20, a billion.
29.
One every year for the rest of your life. But they are opening up international travel, though, as well.
Did they say that?
I think it was on the news this morning.
Did the news say that, or did the airline say that? Because they said that, like, this time last year, they said they were going to open up. We're going to open up. Qantas is out of nowhere said they're going to open up.
Honestly, all I heard was the words Qantas and LA Airport, like, with international travel.
LA Airport, LAX.
Yes, LAX, yeah. So I
What's
heard
the
that.
X stand for?
Express.
Exchange?
Exchange, yeah, because it's like a Singapore sort of thing, a lot of the
Layover.
international, yeah, exactly. But yeah, and that will be opening up soon, and then you'll have your vaccination passports.
I think they said Singapore. That's what they said this time last year when they were going to open up the international borders for a bit more closer to home travel. Singapore was one of the destinations that was hot on the menu.
But there still has been international travel this whole time. It's just been less.
Yeah, if you're an athlete, Olympian, superstar,
very wealthy business person,
politician that needs much needed reprise.
Rest at Hawaii, yeah.
That was before lockdown, but
I know.
It's probably happened since. No one just knows about it. Yeah, say something.
Oh, sorry. But besides that, there hasn't really been much international travel, so it'd be interesting how things are going to be or how it's going to happen going forward. Like, what is going to be the rules that will set in place? Like, what are countries going to be unified with this travel and tourism, or is everyone going to have like their own set of rules?
It's very hard to get countries to agree on anything.
I know. They can't even agree on climate change.
Climate change, another example. Yeah.
Yeah, so like, if we want to go overseas, is that going to be happening anytime soon? Or is it just
personally?
Yeah, or is it just going to be ridiculously expensive? Or is it going to be like crazy cheap because they want to boost people traveling again?
I don't think it would change much. For the premium stuff, I think it would be boosted up.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyday stuff would be the same. They're just going to want travelers I don't know. I feel like it'd be easy to make an argument either way as the airline being like, we're going to boost prices because
we need to recover costs. Yeah.
But then there's also like, you could just do the opposite tactic and just lower it so every plane is chock-a-block full. But I'd imagine they'd probably only be running like maybe half airplanes. You know, you go to the cinemas or whatever and they have the seat separation.
Yeah, the square foot rule.
If they implement that into planes and international travel, then the price will go up because you're going to have to cover someone's second seat. The airline's not going to cover that cost.
Yeah, because you're using the same amount of fuel, but you have less passengers. Yeah, so that is interesting. It could definitely go either way. Like, I don't even know if it's in our benchmark in the future. I mean, it would be nice. But imagine getting
international travel?
Yeah, imagine just getting something happens and bloody, the strain T comes out and the Z strain, and we get stuck overseas.
Yeah, it's a risky move. You definitely want enough money to get your return or have your return flight booked, ideally, but enough for any sort of emergency departure. But also, travel insurance, that'd be a bit of a sketchy area. I don't know exactly how that works. We haven't traveled too extensively, but travel insurance would have to sort of cover potential COVID rapid departure sort of situations.
Yeah, I could imagine there being some sort of like 2-week quarantine coverage or something in your insurance. Like that would sort of make sense. Like all these new things will start happening to adapt to how like the world could potentially go. So even like home insurance and all that kind of thing would change as well because you'd be at home more. No?
Doesn't sound right, but I don't have a strong enough counter argument to battle that. So I'm sure it would change. But even like speaking about international travel insurance, even domestic travel is sketchy. Like I'd be more concerned about a state border shutting than a international border because these states can just, the people running them at the moment are just shutting stuff down willy-nilly.
Just think about that statement. You're more worried about states closing than international travel.
Borders.
Yeah. So like, how crazy is Australia right now of just like constantly shutting their borders and you can't travel freely between them?
I'd feel safer like traveling to Singapore knowing I can come back to Sydney as opposed to going in Melbourne or Queensland or WA. They don't want anyone in there at the moment.
Yeah, I think even they're setting up new rules for like fully vaccinated and all that as well.
Yeah, just don't cross the borderline.
Yeah. I mean, we're pretty lucky. New South Wales is huge. There's a lot of places that we could go that we haven't even hide. Oh no, just a lot of places where we could actually just go and venture out into. Like we've barely covered most of New South Wales to begin with. There's so much more areas to go to.
Well, it sort of threw a spanner in the van life thing we were going to do right before lockdown sort of hit. We rented that van for a week, did a podcast episode. Go back and check that one out. Not too sure what the number is, but you can find it.
Yeah.
Search Look Mum Van. And we had made a plan to work on saving and building a van out in the next sort of 12 to 18 month period. But then the lockdown hit and sort of threw the entire project on a ledge. I'm really scraping for full sentences tonight.
I think lockdown just gave us a new perspective on like what our goals are, what our future, what we want in the future compared to, I guess we did, 7 months ago. Like a lot has changed.
7 months ago?
I don't know, it feels like 7 months. I think it's 3. About 3 months ago.
A lot can change in 3 months.
Definitely. And it's just not helped us, but just given us a new light on, is the van really something that we want to do? Do we want to go away for a year? Do we want to... Yeah, it's just... We're not sure anymore.
It's just just throwing more doubt into the mix. I would love to do it, but it seems like anything can happen. Like you said, these states' borders can shut down at any moment. The last thing I want to do is prepare for a year to go into state and travel and do this gigantic road trip, and then it just be shut down at any moment's notice. So it sort of made us realize the importance of self-sustainability in terms of finance, like trying to build our side hustles out, health, trying to grow vegetables, all those sort of things. And then obviously a place to reside in, having freedom to choose where you live and freedom to travel where you want, basically. So it's like, do we try and pursue that, which is probably the smarter move, as opposed to decking out a van and traveling around for a year. So yeah, it's just the lockdowns. It's definitely put things into perspective.
It has.
In terms of it could happen again and 10 times worse next year or the year after or even in 5 years. So, yeah, it's building the foundations that we already have been, but fortifying the foundations of like what we want to be doing for the next 30 years as opposed to focusing on the next 2.
Yeah, 100%. And what you said about focusing on our mental health and physical health, it really brought it into light how important it is when you get all the things that you normally can do get taken away, and you've got to you refocus and figure it out what it is that you can do to help yourself move forward and keep moving along and keep kicking and keep hustling. Keep hustling. I mean, that's what we always try to do, even though we get sidetracked sometimes, or we have a big hurdle like COVID and got to switch it up and figure out what's actually going to work in the future for us. And
I'm going to throw it out there a year early. We're going to be locked down again next year.
You think so?
Yeah. The worst is yet to come. Sorry to say it.
It just depends, because America doesn't really go on lockdowns, do they?
No, they're too wild.
Yeah.
They've got guns. People would just riot straight away.
And
that's
England...
why everyone was like criticising Sydney-siders or Australians for not, creating an even bigger uprising than what occurred during the previous couple of months of lockdowns. They just revolt over there. They got too many weapons.
That's true. We don't have guns here.
We've got... What have we got? Remember
We've got
that
knives?
time that guy used that milk crate to capture that guy over the neck in Sydney that was stabbing people out of the prostitute ring?
No, but that sounds like such an Australian thing to do.
Horrible retelling of actual events.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a perpetrator got detained with a empty milk carton crate.
Milk crate. Yeah. I could definitely see that happening.
So no guns. We have those. What else do we have? Kangaroos.
We do have kangaroos.
Hard to train though.
We do have footballs that people love to just chuck at people. So
which kind of football?
Well, Aussies love their sport.
The way you went like that, that's more of like a gridiron pass. It wasn't like an AFL. I don't know what it's called. A bumping from behind. I'm not sure if someone can clarify what
handball.
It's called.
Yeah, handball it. That's for those watching. I'm trying to do the movements on the
So we don't have much in terms of deadly weaponry.
Besides knives and snakes, that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, I forgot the most deadly of them all. Magpies.
VB.
Magpies.
Again, hard to train.
Which is like have a swooping magpie mob. Are they called mobs?
It could be like a robotic one.
Could you build a robotic magpie?
Definitely with some help.
Maybe we'll call up Jesus, Elon Musk, and be like, yo, can you build us a swooping magpie?
No, he won't do that.
How do you know?
Because he's busy. Was he in space at the moment or what? Didn't he go to space with Shatner?
Wasn't that Bezos?
I don't follow that stuff.
I know. There's two of them, two big rich dudes are going to space at the moment. So you got...
They're big or they're rich? Or they're big rich?
They're just rich. I don't know if they look quite fit. So, normal sized rich dudes.
I think Elon Musk is pretty tall.
Is he?
He's taller than me.
Oh, really? You're pretty tall. But yeah, two rich dudes going to space. That's what they're doing at the moment. Do you think they use their COVID time wisely?
I would say the second that it became like a global pandemic, they would have had an entire team of 30 to 50 doctors each. Saying,
I want to get out of here. I want to be able to live somewhere else other than Earth.
No, working on preventative medicine and all that sort of stuff. The 100%. You're a $1 trillion asset. You're going to have a gang of doctors just devising your own personal strategy to defeat COVID or to never even get it. Because I don't know if they got it, did they?
I have no idea, but I can imagine those big pharmaceutical companies though, as soon as like they got whiff of like a pandemic, they would have been like, hurry, let's try and find like a vaccine. Let's just like hustle around the clock. I could just imagine these big like, how much pressure would it be in those huge companies? Obviously, they would have had something that would have been similar that they would have been just like testing on to see if that would work, right? Because they'd have like a pre-existing vaccine. They'll be like, let's see if this will work with this one.
I think you're giving them way too much credit.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're huge pharmaceutical companies, but they're not, it's not the main medicines they've been developing all these years.
Oh, no, of course not. But I'm just saying as soon as like the pandemic hit though, they would have been like...
It's cash grab.
Yeah. Be like, whoever gets the first vaccine will have the
Yeah.
the more
I
money.
don't look too much into
That
current
side of
science.
things.
Just don't have the time. I'll be bothered.
No.
I had a really important question for you.
Oh, did
And
you?
you carried on too long.
And you forgot it?
Well, it's not your fault for talking. It's my fault for forgetting. Get what it was.
Oh,
Bugger.
that's a shame. Well, since you...
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Do you even know anyone that got COVID? Personally?
Personally, no. It's always like someone who knows someone who knows
Yeah, but that's
someone
not the
got
same.
it. No, it's not the same.
It's like I know someone that knows someone that met Tom Cruise once. But did ya?
No, it's
But
always
did
like...
ya?
No, so I know someone who knows someone. That's
Doesn't
as far
count.
as it goes. No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Have you met the person?
No, I've never met someone
Do you
who
know
has...
their name?
Oh,
Do you know what they look like?
no.
So 0 from 3, you have no connection with this person.
No.
So I don't know of anyone that got it. Maybe just Australians are tougher.
Maybe. Well, we were in a hotter climate when it first round hit, but then the second round...
There's just less people to spread it to, I guess, is another factor.
Yeah, and we don't riot as much as Americans do, so... Riot as
There
much.
was a couple of riots.
Yeah.
There was no outbreak that I can recall from any of those riots, so maybe they were masked up pretty good. Who knows?
I have no idea. COVID's oh man, it's definitely done. It's just been such a strange time. Like you've been a little bit more affected than I have. I feel like just because I work in retail, so I was still going to work. Like we'll close to the public, but I was still going out to work every day. You were at home most of the time, keeping busy. But since it all of the time,
yeah.
So since it's been about 2 weeks now since open, like how are you feeling? Does it still feel so bizarre?
Feels very, very strange. On day one of lockdown ending,
I think they were calling it Freedom Day, but I don't like that.
That sounds dumb. That basically sounds like you just let all your freedom slide, which we basically did.
To a degree, but it's for
Freedom
the...
Day is I don't want to be calling it Freedom Day.
No.
Ever,
so
again.
the day after lockdown ended.
Yeah, it's like the day after. What's that?
Day after tomorrow.
Stupid movie.
Day after COVID.
The day after COVID was considered not the biggest threat as it was 3 months ago.
No.
Day one was crazy. So obviously you have to have bloody check-ins and all your paperwork and stuff in check. Went to a few of the local retail stores, supermarkets, as they are known, the big three.
Yes.
Yeah, big three.
The big three.
To look for some retail arbitrage stuff to flip for Christmas time. And it was a horrible decision. The shops were chaos. The first probably 5 stores I went to, there was arguments to straight away. People hadn't realized that they needed to change their behavior and to get into stores. People just going crazy at the little old lady at Kmart that's been working there since 1989. She's getting abused for checking IDs at the door and whatever else. People getting abused left, right, and center. So very stressful place, and just very stressful. First of all, being in a mall setting. I don't really like shopping centers at all because too many lights. It's just a really highly sensitive, visual, overstimulating place.
Yeah, for sure. Where op shops are just nice little hole in the wall type places.
You got some church. What are they called? Anthems?
Yeah.
Hymns?
Yeah.
Sermons?
Just better ambiance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smellier but more holier.
Yeah.
Places to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was just people everywhere and sensory overload because of the lights, and then you got to pull your phone out and check, and you got masks. It was very different frame of mind going in and out of there compared to being in lockdown for 3 months at home by yourself. Just completely different world. But it doesn't take long to adapt to that. You can get used to it after a day or two. But I regret going out. And then we went to the city a bit later in the week, and I was pretty much in bed sick for the following week. So the last 2 weeks has been a week write-off, a week of highly stressful anxiety shopping. Had one good thrift day, and that's pretty much where we're at. Now it's the next Saturday. So I feel like the first 2 weeks just flown by, and like you said, it's almost Christmas, November next week.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the end of the year's gone. It's pretty much gone at this point. I'm writing it off.
I know. And that's probably something that also sort of tied in with us changing our van idea is we wanted to go away for a year, but we've almost lost that year.
Well, we've lost 3 months of that momentum, you know, you're at a steady pace, a steady climb, and then we were still paying all our bills, still making sales, still doing a lot of things.
Yeah, we were fine throughout that aspect, but it was the more that we wanted to do was going slower.
It just takes the momentum out. So you're back to sort of a near plateau space for a little while until you come out and you can get things back on track. So that 3 months momentum we build up would take another 4 to 5 months to sort of catch up that leeway. So now we're sort of behind the 8 ball in that regard, but we've still got a lot of things we want to do. There's a bunch of events coming out that I want to go to. Like there's that new, when we were in the city last week, there's that huge new, was it Aware Super Theatre? Like that new big IMAX entertainment centre, which has some crazy stuff.
That was huge. Oh, that's right. And there was like kids just doing their dancing around the corner.
TikTokers.
Yeah.
People were out doing TikToks hard
and
after
K-pop
lockdown.
dances and stuff. So like 4 of them had like these Apple MacBooks just like chilling on the ground with like the dancing on it. And they were just like groups of 3 or groups of 2. Like some were actually really talented and you had skateboarders down the end. It was actually kind of nice.
We probably should have got the phone out and did a few dance TikToks with them. We haven't done any dance TikTok yet, just thrifting ones.
No, we actually didn't jump on any of those COVID trends that people were tending to do. So the couple challenges and stuff.
That's the one regret.
Missed opportunity.
Not enough TikTok dances.
Yeah. But you know what? We've actually got events on that we can go to now, which is awesome. There was like nothing
this weekend.
Yeah. Well, there's more stuff coming up in the next few weeks or so, but you can definitely see that a lot of stuff has just been closed this whole entire time.
The first 1 or 2 weekends are a bit iffy. People are still trying to work out their COVID safe plans.
Exactly, because you have some websites saying yes, they're open, some websites saying no.
Yep.
Yeah, especially those markets that are open like every single weekend. Yeah, there was like 1 or 2 that we tried that weren't open yet, so I'm looking forward to those being back open again, which would be awesome. Just to be able to get out, because I like those outdoor markets. They're really nice.
Markets are cool, but we don't have any theme parks here in Sydney. They still have Wet n Wild got redone, right?
It did, yeah. And you got like Luna Park and stuff.
Do you have to wear a mask on something like that, you reckon?
Oh, good question. Who knows?
Water mask.
Water mask?
Like just a...
Like made out of wetsuit material?
Just a... like goggles and snorkel, I guess.
Oh, yeah, true. There's like almost
just
like
spit your COVID directly up
just
into the
upside,
air.
yeah, because it just evaporate into the air and then disappear.
That's a hot take.
Hot take, yeah. You know, I'll patent that technology.
Well, yeah, snorkel COVID reliever.
Yeah.
Needs a snazzier name.
COVID snuzzle.
Moving on. So yeah, a bunch of events we want to go to. That's something that I look back now in hindsight after coming out of COVID, like we were never big people that went out, especially like nighttime, to like clubs, or haven't been to a music festival or a concert in probably a year or 2.
Yeah, actual music festival. It's been a really, really long time, and we used to go to them in our 20s all the time.
Maybe not keen for a full day festival, just like a night out, some nice food and like a band or 2.
Nice classic gig.
Nice. Who tours these days? Surely Kiss has got another one coming.
I know. But like used to go to gigs literally every single weekend as a young adult. I mean, that's all that we had really to do. We didn't have... What didn't we have?
They're so expensive now, though. Back in the day, $55, go to Roundhouse.
Yeah.
See a band. No worries.
Or even like your local ones used to be like $10, $5. Now probably... Do they even have local ones anymore?
Yeah. But now you got to go to like whatever, who does gigs these days? Horton Pavilion, $110 or whatever. So more affordable back then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like there was more bands coming over, so maybe there was more competition, drove the price down. I'm not too sure.
No, that would make sense because they had a lot more venues, and then Sydney, you know what, probably since like Sydney started the lockdown, you know how so it was less bands coming because they couldn't play, and you know, you used to get money from like drinks and merch and
King's Cross lockout and all that stuff. Yeah, I've never been big on going out and stuff, but
yeah, I knew that had a huge effect.
Yeah, kind of looking forward to mixing up and, you know, getting into the night. Not getting into the nightlife. Sounds like I'm going to go fucking clubbing every weekend or something.
No, but there's like things like the Sydney Film Festival's coming up. Yeah, there's just like quite a few cool things.
Just the opportunity to go out and just mingle, not necessarily talk to people and stuff, but just
festivals.
Get outside the house because those experiences, you know, you don't get a whole lot of opportunities to do all that stuff, especially the older you get. Things come up in life.
Yeah.
So trying to optimize. I'm like struggling.
You're in like business mode, but I was like, it's really like the absence makes the heart grow fonder. So not being able to do so many things for the last couple of months really makes you miss them, but also like appreciate the small things as well, because you couldn't never do them before. But just the ability of being like, oh, you know, let's go to a farmer's market this weekend, or, you know, let's check out this little vintage place down here.
Yeah, I get over stuff fast though, so I only have to go the one time, and then I'm back to my old ways next month. 2022.
Yeah, that's our year.
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, this year's been our year.
It's a good attitude to have, but you should say that. You should say every year is.
Yeah, of course.
Year.
We just get better and better and better every year.
Like this wine.
Yeah.
From last year, so it's had 1 year to get better.
I don't know. There's certain wines that are meant to age, and there's certain wines that are meant to be drunk straight away. That's as much as I know about wine.
Is it?
Yeah.
You know different colours? Smell that one. What's it? Give me You didn't read the bottle, did you? Give me three descriptors.
Fun fact, I have not a strong sense of smell, so I smell like sandalwood. I said sandalwood because that's like a common smell in a lot of things. Isn't it? Sandalwood?
Is sandalwood,
or lavender?
Where does sandalwood come
Berries. Trees.
Sandal tree?
Sandalwood tree.
Well, it wouldn't be called a sandalwood tree. Don't call it a eucalyptus wood tree.
Well, it's called eucalyptus. This particular thing's called sandalwood.
Do you call it
Isn't it?
Pine wood tree or a pine tree?
I don't know. We should probably look that up and see.
Let's determine it right now for the humanity. Sandalwood.
I'm gonna stick with sandalwood tree.
No, it comes from some exotic tree for sure, and it doesn't have the sandal on its name. That'd be my guess. Sandalwood. Yep. Next, smell, scent, flavor.
Citrus. I smell a bit of citrus.
Get me more. This is horrible for the people that are listening.
It really is. Apology, listeners out there. Drew's trying to make me sniff and smell wine. Fun fact: Drew used to work at
somewhere that sells booze.
Yeah, so he's more knowledgeable than I am.
Yeah.
Well, what does it smell like to you then?
Well, now that you've said sandalwood, it's in my head. So,
is that what you're smelling now? Sandalwood?
Yeah, we should do a winery, wine tasting now that we're out of lockdown.
You know what? We should do something that's super classic, like a hot air balloon ride over the Hunter Valley and do like a wine tasting. That's like classic wine country.
You know why no?
Why?
Because do you know how
wine? No.
Not intentional. That was just a Freudian slip.
Yep.
And you caught it.
I did.
Threw it right back at me.
I did. Yeah.
The problem with the hot air balloons is they go up so early in the morning at like 5 a.m. or whatever before sunrise.
Yeah.
And it's so far away. And judging by this morning's turn of events, we can't get up that early.
We slept in this morning and we've been sleeping in.
I don't want to even think about this morning again. I'm past that. I'm talking about hot air balloons.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do it, A, it's a lot of money. So we got to sell something pretty hectic to fund that.
We do.
B, we either drive for a very long time to get there early, or option C, which is basically part B/B, pay for an Airbnb so you don't have to drive, which costs more money, which means selling more stuff, which means drinking less wine when you're there. But that's just the thought.
We'll save up for it.
Just still a bit tense about the lateness, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
We'll put it on the bucket list for future. We want like a nice weekend away. We can do a wine tour, Hunter Valley, hot air balloon, very classic.
What about a Bob Ross of the landscape? Bob Ross painting. You paint the Bob Ross painting in the hot air balloon above the scene, bird's eye level, with oil paints spilling everywhere, 100 feet off the ground.
I feel like
probably more than that.
I feel like that's just like a comedy movie waiting to happen or something like that. I've never been in a hot air balloon, so I don't know how steady it is. So I'm assuming.
Plus, if you had Bob Ross hair, you're pretty up in flames. That thing
most likely
looks like very light and ready.
Looks flammable.
Very flammable.
Oh, I'm sure that. You know what? I'll give it a red hot go, but most likely
the hot air balloon or the perm.
Oh, hot air balloon. I would say. I don't think I'll get a perm.
I can see you with a perm.
My hair's like sort of wavy in general, so I could sort of just makeshift a perm for you if you like.
I could get like 4 balloons, rub them on the carpet, get some real good static, and then just circle them around your scalp until I just home perm.
Ah, you know what?
Static perm.
Lost opportunity. You could have been a COVID hairdresser.
Could have. Anyway, I think we'll leave it there because I'm going to go explore my future employment options.
Sounds like a good idea.
All right, well, I'll work on that list for next week's episode, which will be episode number 24.
Very nice.
Very nice?
Yeah. Every new episode, I'm excited to always do the podcast. I love the chats that we have.
What were you doing when you were 24?
Oh, a lot of nothing. I think I was just watching a lot of Doctor Who at the time. You look at me and you're like, sounds about right.
Not surprised.
No?
No, not in the slightest.
No, I'm a big, or was a big nerd, not as much as a nerd. I feel like I'm a lot cooler now.
I think you're definitely a more cool Whovian.
Yeah.
Coolvian.
Oh, Coolvian. I like that. All right.
Don't like it at all.
We're
Don't
getting
forget,
so
guys,
much.
Don't forget you can subscribe to the podcast. Look, Mum, I'm Hustling. Search it in on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify as well. And we do a video version, which you can watch right now over on YouTube. Subscribe to that. Give it a thumbs up. Comment below.
Yeah, I was about to say, also, don't forget us to give a review as well. It means a lot to us, especially on the podcast platforms. But yeah, just wanted to shout out everybody that listens. Thank you so much.
All right. And no one's actually gave us a review about last week in terms of the year that the latte was invented. So we're still waiting on a response.
Yes.
We could do the research ourselves, but we're waiting on you guys to help out.
Yeah, definitely.
From afar.
We're all a team here.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next week's episode 24 then. See ya
Thank
next
you.
week. Bye.
Bye.